Can we put a picture of him with that phrase right there? Because I see the on-air button got hit. I'm not getting caught with that. Don't. How dare you, sir?
You know what?
We do need a photo of him with that on there.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Laser Source podcast, the #1 podcast. If you like Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, who remembers that movie?
I'm glad you didn't go the other way.
I thought about it, but then I heard Miranda yelling at me about the first 7 seconds thing, and I was like, all right, well, I gotta wait to save
other stuff. Don't worry about it. We'll just keep going. Keep going.
It's a throwback, man.
Boo boo kitty fuck. We're here. We got another great episode for you guys tonight. This is a sneak preview into my tier list episode that Rhiannon and I recorded together. And so basically the screen appears to be up here getting color filtered a little bit because of my green screen. But this is our tier list that we came up with in the episode. It's about 25 minutes long. We basically give justification as to why all of these things are where they are in this list. So if you're interested in seeing how this list got to where it is right now, keep an eye out for that episode. I'd like to have it up tomorrow or Thursday for you guys, so you can check that out. The purpose of tonight's episode is to add to this and maybe critique a bit where I landed on this tier list. I'm really interested in getting Matt and Kyle's feedback because they haven't seen this yet at all. This is the absolute first time.
I've got some feedback for you.
I'm sure you do. And maybe potentially add a few lasers to the list as well, because I know there's some things that Matt and Kyle have had their hands on that I have not. And if you have anything else you want us to add to the list, maybe drop that in chat as well. Since I'm going to be manipulating the Inkscape, I don't have my normal text document open. So if one of you guys doesn't mind handling a text document, probably Matt, because Kyle's on his phone, I think, today.
I am joining you from my couch on the phone.
That is something. Matt, do you think you could just kind of roll a text document with comments for us throughout the night tonight?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Cool. We don't do any prep before this show, so I have to ask that while we're live. And when you're done with that, if you want to say hey to chat real quick, we can knock that out too. But yeah, so if you guys want to see a laser added to this list, if you want to move the position of something on this list, I'd be really interested to hear about that. And Matt and Kyle as well, if you guys would like me to add anything to this list, let me know.
Yeah, dude, I'm ready to talk about it and go from there.
I will get some additions going. Yeah.
All right. So first off, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. Like Alex said, and the first person today is Mike C8101 coming in first. Way to go, man!
Mike gets the crown.
Oh, and then
I like how DeMarco was like second, 2.5 hours early, but I'm getting closer to first.
I mean, hey, you beat me, dude. And then John Uftring said, like Avis, I'm not #1, but I'll try harder.
What's up, John?
Cuban said something like 4 or 5. Michael said taking the 5th. Jack in the shop said, what's up, people? This is a while back, because that's when I said I plead the 5th, which I think if anyone asks you about the show, you should, right?
Indeed.
You watch Laser Everything? What's that now?
Yeah? I don't answer questions.
Yeah, I don't answer questions without a lawyer. And then Laura said, hello, I'm a bit under the weather and heading to bed. Oh no, she's missing the podcast. Laura, feel better, man.
Feel better, Laura.
I missed that. Crap. And then you got Chris from Perth saying good day all. So what's going on, buddy? Sam says Laser Engraving is back. Welcome, dude.
Ooh,
we've already got something about a 3D printer lesson, so we'll come back to that. Directed Text says hello, what's going on, buddy? My goodness, we got a bunch of people. You weren't kidding. Practically Accurate is back. This tier thing should be interesting. Curious how you're going to break them down. Yeah, I'm looking at that and it's the same. Like I saw earlier, I was working and I was like, okay. And then we got Miranda, we got Smoke and Lasers, Geek of All Trades coming in. My goodness, Alex Pugsy's back. And then I think we're up to now.
Nice.
Welcome,
guys. Thanks for joining us live. We love having you here, participating in the conversation. It makes the show so much better. So yeah, this is my list. Obviously, it starts at the top. S tier is best. And then as we move down, we get to the Fs at the bottom here. Just to run through them really quick so we're all on the same page. And again, you can find more details about all of this the way that it appears on the screen right now by watching the episode when it drops in a day or two. So if you don't have that notification bell clicked on for the channel, make sure you do so that you get notified when this episode comes out. But here we have the We Create Lumos, the Algo Laser Pixie, the Eon Mira 9. In the A tier, we have the Ortur Laser Master 3 X-Tool F1, the Eon Mira 5S. This guy here is the Bi-Laser Portable, which is really, really good. But I'll talk more about that later. We have the Commarker B4, B tier, Alfaro Laser 1, X-Tool D1 Pro, the Light Object Ranger 3, and the EM Smart Basic 2R. C tier brings us the Laser Pecker 2, the Ortur Laser Master 2, the Momport Reno Pro, and the Ohmtech 2820. D tier, we have the Alfaro Laser 2 and the We Create Vision machines, both the 20 and 40 watt variants. E, we're looking at the Ortur R2, and F, Ortur R1, and the Atezer. So those are all, the reason we picked these lasers to start is because these are all lasers that I physically touched with my hands. So I've had all of these in front of me and gotten to use them. That doesn't mean I don't have opinions about other lasers, but that is why we chose to start with this list. And again, because I have Matt and Kyle here with me tonight, I'm willing to add more. But yeah, so what do you guys think right off the bat?
Well, my first thing is I want to know I want to hear some of the reasons why you put these things here, because like I've got a Boss Laser 2436, right? The 150 watt.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the 50 watt that you've got behind me here. I've got the 5 watt UV, which is similar, but it's not an Ingu. So like there's little differences, right? And then I've got the 60 watt CO2 Galva, which I know that you do not place as highly as I do. So I think that'll be interesting to kind of hear what you guys kind of put that, you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm like, I'll based off what you say, I'm gonna be like, okay, I think mine actually might fit here.
You might actually have some interesting ideas for this thought that I had, where basically I didn't include any of my like industrial sized galvo lasers on this list. And the reason why was because I got kind of like, I don't know if it's like analysis paralysis or what, but there are so many brands and makes and models of that split laser system, galvo system, that I just like didn't, if I just included the ones that I had, I felt like I was going to get comments about why I didn't include this brand or why I didn't include this brand. Where's the Cloud Ray? Where's the SFX? You know, whatever. And so I didn't really know how to deal with that. And the galvos that are on here are ones that are like really popular and like recognizable by name without, you know, having to be a customer, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I included the ones that I included. Now, if you guys have any thoughts on that, or, you know, like how I would go about clarifying that in their inclusion in the list, I would certainly be willing to reconsider that. But I was kind of getting hung up on that.
Yeah, my thing is I wouldn't worry about any of that stuff at all. And I'd just be like, this one because it does good at this thing.
Sure.
Like, but you overthink things because you're an analysis guy.
I am.
I'm not really much of a thinker. I lack the proper equipment for that.
What do you think, Kyle? Does it matter?
I mean, it would be a good thing to have an ad in there. I don't think we need to go nuts with, I don't know if the right word is varietals, right?
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
For the variations of stuff that we don't have, obviously, the evaluation of what we think about it is likely to change based on the fact that we can't really judge it fairly because we don't have it.
Right.
But we could like make an educated guess if somebody were to ask. But for all intents and purposes, if we're going to add it, it should just be what we have with the asterisk that differences, variations, etc. We can't judge everything as an open-ended book, you know.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that that's fair when organizing them. Should we just call them like Galvo UV and kind of treat them all the same? You know?
I mean, yeah, that's hard to say.
For the
I think it
purposes
matters.
of this,
I think the source matters a little bit, and I think like the wattage is gonna change to me, like because some of these like with the diodes, you can like actually change the like different units they're on, you know, like the modules, but
Sure.
you can't really change like the 5 watt, I guess, or maybe again, it kind of depends on like versatility. If we're talking about utility and versatility, it doesn't matter if you get a 3 watt UV, a 5 watt, 10, 12, whatever. Those are gonna be like beast no matter what, you know.
And I think in fairness, across the brands we've tested, for Galvos specifically, as a generality,
Yeah.
we would give them equally a check mark in terms of value, an evaluation, right? In terms of quality, like they're I think we could skip that portion of it and just go straight to, yeah, let's judge it by like source.
Okay, interesting.
I think that's fair, right?
Yeah. I'm just grabbing a couple pictures here really quick.
By the way, while Alex is getting a couple things ready, I already see a few of you guys who are putting things in the chat, like where would this laser go? What about that laser? Like if there's something that you really want to see up here, or you want us to discuss, or you want to bring up and discuss, because there might be other people in chat that can do that, drop them in there. Like we've already had somebody mention, or by the way, if you see one of these and you're just like, I disagree with that, tell us why so that we can bring it up when we get to it. Because some of you guys are talking about the laser pecker, you're talking about why does the Lumos make the S tier, and that's kind of why we're gonna hit on that today, right?
Because it's fucking sick, dude. That's why.
Yeah, so feel free to add your comments and stuff like that, because again, this is the sneak peek. It might actually alter the end product of the video.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of canonically, that video's done. It's like well edited. So
nice.
This canonically comes after that. So you guys are gonna get like a prequel, I should say.
Yeah, I'm just proud of you for saying canonically 3 times. Way to go.
Thank you. I mean, I felt it was important.
Canonically, right.
I thought it was canonically important.
Right.
No,
absolutely. By the way, if you check our chat there, I put the Google Doc and kind of just threw some things in there. So if you want to take a perusal, have that on another monitor.
Okay. Let's see. All right. So this represents this little UV
CO2
source
here.
Yeah,
that's the big boy. There's a CO2.
That UV. This represents your JPT source.
Okay.
Because I don't have like a solid picture of
John said canonically. I thought you were a Nikon and Sony guy.
Well, I am a Canon guy though. Kyle, what's the Cloud Ray model you have, dude?
I have the Q. It's the 50-watt Pro model. I can't remember the code for it. It's a Raycus.
QS50?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I don't remember Cloud Ray's model name for it, I should say.
Sure.
But it's the 50-watt Pro model.
All right. Well, this is like a generic Cloud Ray laser that I think might be what you have. So it's going.
Exactly. We're good.
That's what that one means.
I'm more interested to see, because I know where I would place some of these lasers already, just based off of my own thoughts and hearing what you said. But I kind of want to see what other people say first. You know what I'm saying? And then be like, and then have us, because usually when you watch like videos like this for D&D, which by the way, I'm wearing my shirt. John, what's up, man? Then you kind of like, usually there's like the guys who are on the channel say this, but then the crowd always disagrees. That always cracks me up. They're like, you call that A, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I kind of like this topic because I know it's something that's going to piss a lot of people off. So I
Now-
Especially when
enjoyed
somebody
it.
buys one
Now-
of those and they feel really upset by that. But it's like there's a reason why, though. There's a reason.
Yeah.
Why.
Just to confirm, we're judging this based off of the laser itself, not the brand.
Listen,
The-
Alex had some caffeine. He got hyped up and was like, "Well, let's make a video about some."
I'm gonna say yes. We're judging this off of the laser itself rather than the brand. I don't really care so
Okay.
much about the brand when thinking about this.
Yeah.
I do want.
So
to know,
we're not judging customer service. We're not judging
Right.
sales
talking about
teams.
the-
We're not
talking about
judging
the value of the machine, like the value the
Yeah.
machine provides.
Like,
Period.
if you had a shop with X amount of space, where is this going to be on your list to buy it to fill that space, right? Because like
Right.
you can only fit so many lasers. But anyways, we're already at like
Um,
15 minutes of talking about what it's like. Let's just.
I know, Kyle. Last one. The Makera. Who makes that?
Wisely.
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 That's it.
Wisely.
And that's got a 30 watt Raycus source in it. It's I think that's the QS30.
I don't know what the fuck this laser even looks like, to be honest.
It's an all-in-one.
Yeah, I figured there's a lot of all-in-ones coming up, but none of them look like what I remember the Makera looking like.
It must suck to get old.
It must suck to not plan your shows in advance.
Yeah.
I did want to include that one though, because I know Kyle's going to throw that one like right up at the top.
You just want a picture of a Wisely? I can look at that while you're talking.
I want a picture of the Makera.
Canonically?
Canonically.
Okay. All right. Start talking and I'll find the Makera. You do your thing.
I'm going to have a really hard time letting this go. I also feel distressed because I can't like send pictures of lasers to Kyle right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can send it to my Discord.
John says, I have both the Alfaro Laser 1 and Ortur Laser Master 3, and I think Alex has fairly placed them. I have an Eon Nova 1400 watt, but have not installed and used it yet, so no opinion. That is a big machine.
Mm-hmm.
You must have just gotten that, John, because I feel like that's the first I've heard.
That would be
of you.
something I would remember, yeah. Or it's just the first time he's
Judge
played
my
that.
com marker Omni X 5 watt happily. Com marker Omni X 5 watt. Yeah, I put that laser on the list of like my top 2025 lasers to buy. I think it was the number one spot was the com marker Omni X. I would throw that in S tier probably, but having not owned it. But let me grab a little picture of that too.
Knowing how much luck our community has had with the Omni and the Omni X
Bro, they just love it.
models so far. Yeah, I mean it's been like very, very reliably high rated from everyone I've talked to who's had one so far.
The Omni X is the 3D one, right?
The Omni X, yeah, I believe so.
I think so too.
All right,
Yeah.
wait a minute. DeMarco just said, wait, 400 watt? Question mark?
What's 400 watts?
I don't know. I think it's the Nova 14100 watt is what you said, but they heard a 400 watt. If someone has a 400 watt here, like
Right, there's the Omni X right there. So we'll get that one thrown up on the screen for you guys. And I'm going to put the Omni one up there too. Because I still think that's like a fucking solid deal.
oh yeah, see, we got some people
Got some people.
liking the
Mama
chat here
mia.
because we're about to get into this and it's gonna
Here
go
we
down.
again.
John said he's had that since November of 23, but major family event and my inability to cope with that event has prevented me from setting it up.
Yeah,
I understand that 1,000%.
I'm sure you do. Yeah, you're right on the wavelength.
This month,
right now.
holy sweet malarkey.
All right, let's see. Yeah, I guess first half of the show, guys, is just going to be like me siphoning your suggestions in. So keep them coming. If you have more, I'm just kind of playing catch up.
Ooh, holy shit. He said, So here's a couple of things that we were saying. Yeah, DeMarco's like, okay, thank God, 1400 watts does not make sense. Yeah, no, that would be either a like cleaning laser, or that would be like one of the ones that cut through metal on like the 4x8 sheets that are ridiculous, right?
They don't usually round down to 1400 watts.
No, they're
though,
usually
usually
1500, 2000, like
yeah.
usually in 500 minutes. Let's see. Cuban Crack said S tier for the OmniX because I bought it. Only reason. Gotta love the logic. I have that one, so it is amazing. Let's see. The working area under the laser of the Nova 14 is 55 inches wide and 35 inches deep, and it has a pass-through. Sweet malarkey. That's a big boy. I really want you to review the Alien Cell X1, and then I would put the X-Tool F2 Ultra UV in at least an A, said Alex.
I've seen a couple comments already that are like, why haven't you reviewed this laser, but you've reviewed this one or whatever. I review the lasers that companies send to me. So if they haven't sent it, that's why I haven't reviewed it.
Also people who agreed to the fact that you want to rip things open, you want to tear them apart, you want to see what they're using.
We do have very high a very high bar for agreeing to accept them.
Yeah, there's not a like literally it says you may not receive a positive review. And by the way, that's posted publicly. At least it used to be. I'm pretty sure it's still over at the Maker.
It still is.
Yeah, it's still over at oh my god, makearmy.net, where you can like go see that.
It is lasereverything.net/ethics.
Oh, there you go. That's where it's going to be. So if you are a company watching this and you want to try to rank up with these people, that's it.
If you want to rank at all.
Yeah. So all the ones that are there are the ones that have physically been reviewed. Well, but I mean, that's the truth, right? Like
it's real
because I'm adding the X-Tool F2 Ultra to the page right now, but it's based on nothing except vibes. So
yeah. You know. If you want to change your opinion, then
so for me, this is where like the ones that are like the white squares are the ones that are either not yours or are coming from other people in the audience. That's the big difference.
Most of them, yeah. I added the F2 and the F2 Ultra. Just
all right. This is plenty to fill the last half hour. Let's go. I want to hear this shit.
All right. Alex, did you want to start with yours since they're already on the list?
What about them? I mean, I didn't plan on running through every single one I've already put on the list. I will retort to placement.
Notables.
If you want the reasoning behind it, I don't want to neuter the episode that I haven't released yet. So you can watch that one if you want the background on why I put them where they are. Notables. Notable is the vision machines down here. I originally put these in the F column, and Rhiannon made me raise them up to a D. Wow. She convinced me after
Is it because of the bidirectional?
It's because of the bidirectional scanning, which still isn't fixed. And I made the argument that it makes those machines unusable compared to other things on the list.
See, okay, but this is where we got to get into are you using this for a shop or are you using this for So what was the?
Who gives a shit when I can spend the same amount of money and get bidirectional scanning from any other comparable machine?
I don't know.
Why are you going to convince me to buy one of these over anything else that goes twice as fast?
All right. Okay.
All right. I saw somebody was already upset that I'd put the Lumos in the S tier category. That machine just rocks, dude. I've used it more since the review. If you haven't watched the review, go watch it. The downside is that you have to use the We Create Make It software, but the upside is that it's not that bad, and it just has so much kick for so little money. You get an upgraded F1 for less money than the F1 costs now, even after having been deprecated and on sale. So it really is it's rock solid. I've had a lot of fun playing with it.
The other main quirk with it that you had was bidirectional scanning, but they fixed that.
They did. Yeah.
So,
in fact, we had to rewrite the entire review after it was half edited because they decided to fix that as I was about to publish my horrible.
They took the feedback.
See, by the way, Jack in the shop saying the same thing, and so is John. Even the Ofero Laser 1 is bidirectional, and Jack said not having bidirectional scan is a big turnoff even for hobby laser users.
So the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to diode lasers is not the speed, And when you cut that speed in half by not having bidirectional,
Yeah, they're
it's
already
like
well known for having 4 speeds.
yeah.
And then you're gonna
So that's where I shut up. I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
terrible stat and crush it more. But she did convince me to raise it to a D, which I
will say
did.
this.
It would be they'd be much, much, much higher on this list if they had bidirectional scanning.
Welcome to the Laser Stores podcast where Alex gave it the D.
I really feel like we should like have a link to all the video reviews that you've already done of these, like in this live. So like, it's like, if you really want to see why, because honestly, like if you're looking at the F column and you haven't seen those videos, like Alex literally poked one with a stick. Like, do something. Do something.
The Attester never got a formal review, but we did talk with Chris and Rhiannon at length on the podcast about it quite a long time ago. That one was terrible because the belts that drove the y-axis were held on with like little alligator clips, which was like the absurd, like cheapest little thing. It had power issues. Every time it got like 2 hours into a 4-hour job, it would just shut down. All kinds of weird stuff that went on with that machine. That one was a pretty bad egg. I don't even know if you can buy it anymore. I just kind of included it because I wanted to give something an F. The other one up on this S tier list, the Algo Laser Pixie. I don't know if you guys know this. It reviewed very, very well on the channel as well. I think it's a great beginner laser, but the reason it's in that S tier, the main thing that really draws me to it, is that it is the only laser on this entire list that can be used without any kind of additional hardware. You don't need a phone, you don't need a computer, you don't need a tablet, you don't need a laptop, whatever. You can literally just engrave with just the thing by itself.
Yeah.
And that's like so powerful. It's so powerful to be able to do that. So that's why I threw that up there. And then I put the Mirror 9 up there because that thing is just, it's kind of the OG, like Haas. So threw it up there.
So here's my question that we can ask, because I know we don't want to take away too much from the video, right? We don't want to take away from the source.
Yeah.
But the source. But looking at this, what are the things that kind of, or maybe this is part of the sauce you don't want to reveal. What was it that like delimited E from F, D from E, C from, like, was it usability, or like what were like the key things where you're like, this has
the conversation was between me and Rhiannon, and me and Rhiannon both are extremely scattered. So if you can imagine us debating about where these go, it's a super, okay. When we publish reviews, they're highly technical and extremely well researched. When we shot this episode, it was the opposite of that. This entire episode was based 100% on like just the vibe that we got when we looked at the picture, based on like our experience, so basically, and reflecting on that.
What was your trauma ranking?
Right. What was your trauma? Yeah, and like, so the Mirror 9 is a great example. I've never had drama with that laser. That laser does everything it claims to do perfectly every single time ever since I brought it out of the crate. Period. That's what makes
that and it also does lots of things. So
yeah, sure. So but those kind of like that self-reflection of like what do we recall about these machines after having used them for so long, and how we feel about it now looking back, is largely where things ended up. That said, we do have some discussions about like, okay, like if C is just like middle of the road, like, how far out from the center are we going to go based on how severe that trauma was? I think is a fair way to kind of assess.
Is this going to affect my children's children?
DeMarco's asking, you're factoring support into the ranking or just the actual laser? We're not supposed to be doing it. A few times during the episode, it does come up, but it comes up in kind of a passive, offhand way, not as like something that we're actively thinking about as criteria for sorting them. So in this state, I would say no. I would probably say it's not counted.
Yep. All right. Well, let's just start doing. If we don't want to take away from the sauce of what you got.
Yeah, like I said, if anybody in chat has questions about where you where I put things, feel free to ask them. I'll answer them. But yeah. I don't want to harp on it.
They've actually already, if you looked at that link that I put into our chat over there, basically one of the things said, let's see, Alien Cell is at least A tier, only got it today and loving it is what somebody said. And then Mike C8101, our first person here today, asked, where do you place the portables that you played with that you like the BY laser, and I think the other one was
it was an SFX.
Correct. Yeah. So where he goes, I would guess that it's higher than the laser pecker. ?
Yes and no. I could grab those so we can add them to the list, but they are unwieldy and they can be difficult to use. They're very specifically for slapping up against something and marking, but man, is it understated how much effort it takes to hold one of those scan heads in place for 3 minutes while something runs. That's hard. And I'm weak and small, so that's probably a factor, but it sucks, dude. It's not fun. They are not fun to use. I don't think that should
take away from it. Yeah.
Rule it out as something to buy. I don't know if that's something that I'm going to sit here and blame the machine itself for, but it does tint my.
To me, that's one of those, that's where it's like the special case, like the special use case comes into play, right? Like, so as far as functionality goes, it's going to be up near the top. But then as far as like, it'd be up there in the A's to me, because that's where you've got like the com marker and stuff. And to me, that's basically what one of those are. It's like holding the scan head of a com marker in your hand, but it weighs like 5 pounds, you know, like the galvanometers and the scan head and all that stuff. But then, like you said, you've got to be able to like find out, like, you know, okay, where am I going to use this? What's it look like? How's it go? Then if like, especially, I think we had talked about like using them at like a power plant or some type of facility where you're going to the place, or like even to a school where they have like the special laser bricks already, and you could go up to the bricks that have been laid and like laser the brick itself. I remember having that conversation. And to me, there's like a lot of utility to it, but you also have to now think about all the things that we focus on when you're in a shop. You have frequency, you've got power, you've got focal distance. Now consider the fact that you're going to take into account humidity, wet work surface, like you've got a reflectivity because has it been sealed, right? Like, is there something that's on top of that, whatever you're working on? There's so many things to try to figure out. Like, to me, that would not be, as far as like things I want to buy. Like, if I'm placing this on, would I buy it? Right. I don't know. Unless I knew like, hey, there's the utility company has like tags that they want made. That's where I would place that. Like, I think it'd be like an A or a B, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'd give the SFX would probably get an A. I like the enclosure better. I like the way that it handles pass-through power better. I like how it does a better job. I don't know. I kind of want to give I like things about both of them. I might put them both at B. Like, one thing that's nice about the BY version of the portable laser marker is that it does come with a very small base and tower.
Oh yeah.
So you can mount it to use it that way if you really wanted to. But the SFX's is, I think, much more comfortable to use. Like, it's got an all plastic housing, which isn't something I usually love, but the plastic housing makes it so much easier
for the purposes of what it's meant for.
For purposes of what it's meant for. Yeah, I'd probably put them both at B. It's hard not to consider how difficult they are to use. And that's not really the machine's fault. It's just inherent to using them. But I think it matters, you know? I certainly wouldn't like take something like this and move it up to S tier with the Mira 9 when I can literally brainlessly use the Mira 9 and get perfect results.
Yeah, and to me, it could be an S tier, like we said, in specific cases, because like if there was something that you needed that's like super not portable, then you can take the laser to it. And that's
sure, but then like that's the thing like where I'm changing the list.
Right.
Because that's instead of a tier list of all lasers, like if we the title
It's a tier list for this circumstance.
Yeah,
Right.
if we made a tier list that said best lasers for portable marking, then these two would be S and
Correct.
everything else would be under it.
But
So,
the only reason I was saying that is so that people who are listening to this later, or if they just showed up now, because like a couple people just said, "Hey, late to the stream," it's like that's what we're talking about. So the thing is if you had your shop, would this where would you put this on your purchase list? And so this is definitely in those top 3 usefulness things, but like you're gonna have to need it. All right, what else we got?
I'm gonna do my Mactrons really quick.
Yeah, hit it.
My CO2 Galvo, I'm gonna give a D to. It's not terrible, but what I don't like about it is that it didn't come stock with a 20 millimeter scan head. I had to upgrade that on my own. And then it didn't come with an appropriate sized beam expander to fully utilize that 20 millimeter scan head once I upgraded it, and they still haven't upgraded the beam expander. So that's been a pain in the butt. It has a very, very nice source in it, but that makes it extremely expensive. It's loud. It's crazy heavy. It's just it's not my favorite thing.
Did it come with a rotary? I can't remember if it had a rotary or not. Like
it
rotary
has,
ready.
All of my Mactrons use those external stepper driver boxes. Okay. And so they all connect with a Phoenix connector, and I can just move the box around however I need to. So no, but yes.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, not that I do that anyway. I usually do project mark. If I'm really going to do rotary work, I feel like I would put it in a gantry for some reason. I'm just more comfortable with that. For the UV, I think this one's the UV. The UV, I would probably give it an A. It's pretty good. I am frustrated. As good as the Ingu source is, and as well known as that company is for like getting long lifetime out of their UV sources and consistent beam quality and like low beam divergence and all that nonsense. It's a very, very, very nice laser. I do find myself occasionally being frustrated that I can't translate my work very well to other people. Again, it's kind of like inherent to the machine. It's not really the machine's fault. And it has a really, really nice source in it, but that does make it a little bit more difficult to use. And then the MTFP platform, their fiber lasers, that's S tier for me. They're just rock solid, perfect at what they do. And it's never, ever, ever failed me. Ever. Except for that one time that I thought it was broken, but Lightburn was just in beginner mode or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, God, that that's kind of how I feel about that. The next one I'm going to toss up, feel free to interrupt me, but I think that the Com Marker Omni 1, not the X, the 1, also gets an S tier placement. And I'm giving it that S tier placement because of the way that it kind of democratized and lowered the bar to entry on UV laser. I think they really kind of opened the door for people to start playing with and experimenting with UVs. And the last time we talked, Kyle, I feel like they were actually, and again, I'm not super heavily accounting for this, but I feel like they were actually fairly budget friendly. I don't want to say cheap.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
I mean, when you're looking at quality galvo lasers, nothing's cheap in and of itself. It's relative to what else is in the market, right? But
yeah.
Sure.
But I totally agree with you. They help drive the price down on good quality machinery.
When I believe Com Marker comes through Amazon too, so as far as shipping goes, it's one of those things where you don't have to worry about importing it and all of those things within, like, depending on what you purchase, it could be 2 days to a week, and it's in your hands.
The one thing that I would interrupt you on and maybe add an addendum to, your UV, the Ingu.
Yeah.
You have like a 2-minute warm-up timer on that guy before it's actually effective too.
That's true. Maybe
yeah, I personally I think the Ingu would hit a B for that. But I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's just stacks onto the annoyances.
It doesn't stop. It's only 2 minutes, but it is something that I have to deal with every single time I turn it on. So it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Whereas, like, I guess I'm kind of like spoiled by me and Matt are kind of spoiled by the fact that we can just turn on our 5 watts and literally hit the go button.
Yeah, just start
Yep.
Yep, it's true. Okay. Matt, how do you feel about the Boss, buddy?
So this is where, to me, it's like your Mira, right? Like it's to me, it's S tier mainly because I have had to do almost nothing. Like when we've talked about changing out the water, I've never have, right? Like I've never had to, like more than the necessary amount. I think I've done it twice, right? As far as cleaning, I basically do the bare minimum on cleaning, and the machine is a beast and never has any issues. The only thing that ever happened once was there was a flow meter, right? The flow meter went sideways. But by the way, that's because it's I think at this point it's like an 8-year-old machine. So okay, I live in the same state.
You got it used.
Yeah, I got it used. So this is, I mean, fair enough, is from my brother, and he bought it new. So I mean, I knew who the owner was before me. But I paid 10 grand for it, and that machine has made me over like $200,000, right?
Yeah, sure.
So as far as like, and also when I turn it on, I think a couple of times I've had issues with the delimiters being weird, you know, like the limit switch is off or something like that. So, and by the way, I just go in there, I fix it with the hex, I fix it back. So I don't know, it's just a workhorse. And as far as everything I've ever plugged into it, everything works, right? Like all the rotaries have always done amazing work. You have to play with it a little bit. I still haven't even changed the tube, and it's like 8 years old, and I'm still cutting through 1/2 inch stuff like it's nothing.
Would you say the
it's 150 watt, by the way, for anybody who does not know my machine? It's the 2436 150 watt.
Would you say the repairability is good? Like where the parts, like things that you could buy on AliExpress and replace?
Yes, so that's the thing. So a lot of the pieces is like when I've done lens replacements, because that's typical stuff, right? I bought them off of Amazon for like $15. You can go to Boss's website. The nice thing about them too is even though I didn't purchase the machine, I have the serial number and I have a bill of sale that shows that it's my machine. So because of that, they do honor like talking to me if I've ever had any questions that had to go beyond me. Luckily, we've got the Discord and we've got the LMA, so I've never really had to worry about bothering them because I'm just like, hey guys, this stuff, and most people are like, oh yeah, here, this. It's the same belt. I've never had to mess with the belts ever. I mean, there's just nothing that I've had to do to this besides I have all of them sitting in a crate if I need them, because I tell you guys all the time you should have those things, but I've never actually had to use them yet. The nice thing too, if it gets out of alignment, I literally just take a piece of 2x4, stick it underneath, and crank it to where it goes and it's back to being level. I mean, it's just a monster. So I really like it. I think the only thing I would say is if you're buying a new one, I haven't seen the new machines, right? So that's the thing. This is their old machine. It's a 2019 version. Or 2018 or something like that. So it's one of those things where it may not be comparable. I'm not sure. But as far as the money I spent for this one, it's what got me into it, and it's been a monster. I love it.
Nice. Good.
Yeah, and it has pass-throughs X and Y. So good stuff.
Keep us rolling and talk to me about your UV laser.
So the UV laser, and this is where Kyle can jump in too, because he and I share the same one. Honestly, I think as far as the laser itself, and this is where I regret not getting a 10 watt. Right, Kyle, what do you think, man?
Yeah, so for me, I would put it in A tier, and the only reason why is because it functions, it works immediately, it's reliable. I've never had it crap out on me.
Sure.
It's pretty ubiquitous in the market, so a lot of people have it, which means I can help a lot of people with settings. The biggest thing that becomes a challenge when you're at 3 or 5 watts is moving up in lens size. It becomes more difficult, and your focal range is limited by that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I would say too, if you don't have a red light in yours, I'd put it at a B. like it's enough to, if you didn't get a red light in it, because you guys know, I think Alex, yours didn't have one, right?
Still doesn't.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things, if you do not have a red beam alignment inside of your actual where it feeds through where you can see it, I can't imagine trying to do that, because you would have to be in a low light situation to find your focals and everything, or you just have to do the vertical raise. So to me, if you have, I agree 100% with what Kyle said. If you've got the red light in it, I'd put it at an A, and then B if you don't have that. So that one thing will literally change. Because if, like you said, if it's the vibes when you look at the machine, or you're like, oh, I get to use that. Like to me, the UV is like, oh, cool, I get to use that. If I didn't have the red light, I'd be like, shit.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's just for framing, because when
Yeah.
you're using a UV, there's a lot of materials that don't pick up the UV light,
right.
and you need to like hold a piece of paper in front of it or hit it with some kind of like talcum powder or UV reactive powder,
And even
and
then,
it's just a
like,
headache.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
I
that's what Cubing
you-
just has too.
I used to be extremely upset about having to do that, and I have to say, I have 100% just like adapted to it. It's
Yeah, and that's one of
kind
those
of
things,
weird.
but it's
Yeah.
the fact that you have
I
to
love
adapt.
my red light.
So the red light makes it where you can literally plug it in and it's like, oh, this is kind of like a fiber. Boop, and you go,
Yeah.
I just use paper, but a red light would be handy. Yeah, even with the paper, like when you what's really interesting is I can see the blue light and I can see the red light, and they're probably within like a fraction of a millimeter of each other when I'm like framing stuff.
Mhm.
So my framing might be the tiniest bit off, but to the
Can you
eye,
not
nobody's
adjust,
seeing
can
it.
you
You
not
can
adjust
fix
that in
that.
Lightburn? Yeah, you can fix
Yeah,
that.
You can.
that's what I'm saying. Like, but
Yeah,
for
we have
me,
a
I
video
kind
on
of
that.
don't want them to, because when they were on top, I actually made it the tiniest bit wider. Like it's literally like 0.05 of a millimeter off.
We talk about that in the episode where we talk about
Right.
how to set that, because you can decide whether you want it to straddle the beam
Yeah.
or whether you want it just on the outside or just on the inside, and we show
Yep.
all three of the ways
I went
that
just
you
on the
do that.
outside because for me, by the way, the reason why, and that's the reason why, because when I got it, Kyle and I sat together when I was putting mine together, and he was like, "Hey, remember this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let me just go ahead and bump it up 0.05." Because 0.05 is like nothing, but it's enough to where like that purple, like one was going this way, one was going that way in my brain. When I'm staring at it, I'm just like, it's messing. It's already on glass. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
anyways, anything else, Kyle? I mean, I think that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, what's next?
Next, Kyle, I'd like to hear from you about the Cloud Ray, dude.
The Cloud Ray.
And I know it's going to be really hard for you, but try not to think about the support that you received and just think about it as a platform.
Yeah. So what Alex is referring to on that is the Rakis source that I got in the machine came with a factory defect, and after the first couple months, it crapped out. Essentially, when it was operating, it would just stop outputting. Or if I changed above 50 kilohertz, which 50 kilohertz is the base,
Yeah.
100 kilohertz is the max on that. If I went above 50 kilohertz, it would crap out faster. So if I went from like a deep engrave to like a cleaning pass back to a deep engrave, it would never go backwards to 50 kilohertz to go back to engraving.
Mm.
So I had to go through months of headaches with that. Just as a source, I think I would give it I'm challenged.
Let me ask you
Either a
this.
B or a C.
Does it work now?
It's working now.
Okay.
I would say
how likely do
between
you
the B and the
think?
C, oh, go ahead, Alex.
Sorry, how likely do you think it would be that somebody else would run into the same issue that you ran into?
I have run into at least 2 people in the community and possibly a third, but they never got back to me. One person in the community, and I'm not going to throw names out there, but he actually had the same problem I had. Sent the source in direct to Rakis like I did. It happened within a couple weeks of each other. We were dealing with the problems, doing the troubleshooting at the same time.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting their source back a week before me, I believe. I got mine a week later. By the time I was installing mine, they were already sending theirs back because it came back with the same problem he sent it out with and had to go through the whole thing again.
Oof.
He got the second source and he still had problems with it. And so he ended up, because he had, I think it was 3 or 4 months of downtime with the machine, he actually ended up going and buying a completely different machine. He went to a 60 watt JPT.
Probably smart.
Because he couldn't deal with the reliability problems, because he was literally trying to operate a shop on one laser that the source wasn't there for 4 months. So
Yeah.
I couldn't even blame him. He's like, I'm just getting rid of this thing. I'm like, well, you could keep it as a backup now.
I mean, this is kind of sounding like a D, dude.
So that's the thing, right? Like when it works great. But like if I didn't have the problems, I would put it at like a B.
Mhm.
But because it did, I think I want to put it at a C.
Okay, C, sure.
Because I don't think everybody has the same problems.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where you've got a B situation. If everything was right, you've got a D situation, and so it's like, okay, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I feel that.
If it was like
you're saying,
if it was the 60 watt JPT model, it would be a completely different story. Is the problem? But it's the Rakis 50 watt. The other thing is, I just feel like the Rakis is it's around, it's common, but it's not as common as like the 60 watt JPT these days.
Yeah, sure.
And the ability to share information with people and help them out is just not there.
Okay. Last but not least, talk to me, you guys, about your CO2 galvos, because you also have the same exact CO2 galvo, right?
Yeah, we do.
well,
Go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say, for me, I would put mine at a B, even though I love the shit out of that thing. And the reason for me is because this is kind of like what Kyle said, for part of it, right? Like mine has an issue that is easily fixed, but I just haven't had the time or the desire to like dig around in it yet. And Kyle's already said, hey, I can help you fix it. It's not a hard thing to do. It's just time. And so I think if mine didn't have the issue, it'd be an A. So it's like between an A and a B. I don't think it's S tier, mainly because the dot size is big, right? It's a little clunky as far as what it can do. But the thing is, what it can do, and if you buy it for the right use case, like plastics, like those 2-layer plastics we talked about,
Sure.
It is the shit, dude. If you're knocking out carving, like anything with carvings where you're trying to put things in there and put designs on it, it's amazing. It's wonderful. Big chunky stuff, even things that have fine detail. When you go down to like the 400 on it, like I'm sorry, not the 400, the 100, you can get some fine detail in there. But it's just got such a wide dot size. And my issue, by the way, what puts it down at a B for me is the fact that mine can only run for like 30 to 40 minutes because it has a static buildup because it didn't have a ground that was placed in it when it came. And so the company that I reached out to, it's a Hey Ocean. They were great. They walked me through the process. They're like, hey, yep, this is the issue. You just need to put a ground on there. And so it's one of those things where it's like, man, I don't want to have to do that. And so, yeah, so John said, how would the dot size be with a beam expander? I have,
it's got an 8x beam expander and a 20 millimeter head.
You're maxed out.
We're maxed out on fineness.
Yeah. All the upgrades that Alex talked about on his, we have those.
And
the other thing is
noticeably better spot sizes than me, but that doesn't change the fact that it's a CO2, and all the beam expanding in the world can't fix the inherent largeness of that spot.
The best thing I can explain it, right? And this is where there's a video where Anthony and I were on one night and he sent me the file. I tried to speed up the process because the CO2 galvo is fast. And like I made the thing and I was like, look, it looks pretty good. And then I made it with the UV and I was like, oh, it looks like shit. Right. Yeah. The difference would be this right here. It goes from like a, X-Acto knife with the UV to a screwdriver Phillips head. That's it. Like it's a tool. It's going to get the job done, but it ain't going to look good.
See, for me, I would put it at like an A.
Yeah. If I didn't have my
issue,
A.
The thing that would bump it up to an S for me, and I don't have the problems that Matt has with the grounding, to be fair. But so for me to get it from an A to an S, I would want to grab one of those lenses that you have with the SL2 lenses.
Yeah.
I can't justify like a $600 lens right now, but
they're more than that. Buddy. Keep going up.
Well, yeah, whatever. But $1,000 lens.
And for the price that Kyle and I were able to get these for, like, because I think mine was $5,000 when I bought it, or $5,500. It's made its money back and more. Right. That's the other part of it for me. Like, is it going to make me money, or at least pay itself off. And in that regard, even with my issues, like at the 30-minute things, you guys have seen the cups that I've made, right? Like the ones that Kyle helped me build a design for. They are gorgeous. And they went, if I did that on a CO2 Galvo, it would take 15 or 16 minutes to make versus over here where it took 6.
Yeah.
So it's very it's useful. I've used it on
so if you did on a CO2 gantry.
Yeah, so on the CO2 gantry, that cup, no, I made that cup that's really pretty on that guy right there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it's but in like a third of the time. So it's just one of those things where it's very useful.
So I guess here's this is my concern from an outside perspective and why I kind of want to leave it at a B unless somebody clarifies. But was Matt's problem a quality control issue?
Yeah, it straight up was. It's one of those things
they just didn't do it. The machine needed to be grounded and they just didn't do it. And they did it on tiles.
Yeah, it got missed.
My understanding is Matt needed to tie in the optional grounding on the back.
Yeah.
To a plug. That's
the thing.
Because some machines need that.
That's bullshit. You guys have the same exact machine.
Right. So it should have been done, in my opinion. That's the difference. Is it should be done.
Why can't you run this is what I'm wondering is why you can't run.
No, there's a grounding lug on the back of the unit. You just run it to a plug.
I get that, but why can't you just ground the unit to the ground?
I don't know.
On the power connector.
Right.
I have no idea.
And that's it. So, but as far as
that's
like,
the problem, that screams big red flag to me. The fact that Kyle's is properly grounded to the outlet and you are being told you need to stake a ground, that seems unacceptable to me. And also, we need to have another conversation about this later after the show because I don't agree with that solution. I think we can just ground you to the outlet like a normal fucking person, but.
Well, anyways, so that's it. Let's do these last 3 real quick because I don't know shit about Xtool.
Me neither, especially their new stuff because they don't send me anything. So, yeah, I don't know. I think we'll defer to Kyle on these because Kyle spends the most time with the community.
Yeah, or what you guys say over here.
How are you? We have 3 units here, Kyle. We have the Com Marker Omni X. We have.
Let's start with that.
Yep, the F2 and the F2 Ultra.
So the Omni X is also pretty popular. I don't know if it's more or less popular than the Omni 1, but I noticed a week or two ago that the Omni 1 wasn't. I don't know if it's not being restocked on Amazon or if they ran out of stock, but it wasn't available when I went to go check when somebody was asking for a link. So I don't know if they're just rolling over and replacing it with the Omni X now. But in any event, the Omni X is functionally the same as the Omni, with the exception that it comes in higher wattage options, and it has an enclosure built onto the top of it. It's removable, so for the people who have trouble with and or want just more space around their laser, and they don't care about the safety aspect of it, you can just rip that bastard off. So I would probably put that like an S tier because to me, it is functionally an Omni 1 with a built-on enclosure and the potential for higher wattage.
Okay. I'm putting it in the middle between S and A because I want to argue with you a little bit about that. But my argument spans all 3 of these devices. So I'm going to wait until you finish placing them to make it.
Okay. What is that? The F2 there?
That is the F2 and the F2 Ultra.
By the way, John Bronson said, and it's got that 3D crystal engraving. I've sold a really good amount of trophies with that. So just one of those things, tossing it out there. A toss.
Yeah, I don't have too much of an opinion on the F2 or the F2 Ultra. The F2 UV, I've heard some mixed information about. Obviously, it's basically a 3D crystal laser, kind of like the Omni X.
Sure.
You have an XCS platform. The thing I don't like about it is that you're kind of size and space limited. So like where with the Omni X, you can take the enclosure off and you basically have a standard tower and source on top.
Mm-hmm.
The X-Tool F2 UV is basically just a big unit, and it comes the way it is. And from what I recall, it doesn't have a pass through on the bottom.
Sure.
So you're kind of stuck if it doesn't fit into the machine. That would be my only concern. I don't know if that's worth dumping it down to an A. Just out of functionality. What do you think?
I'm gonna drop it down to a B, like an AB to me, because then it's like Lightburn compatible, and there's already
But
been
it's not Lightburn compatible.
right. That's what I'm saying. So to me, the fact that it's compatible, but then it's not, and you're stuck in some of those systems where there's issues, yada yada, like that's where it already drops it to a B. But then all the things you said that were good about it make it that like AB. You know, like
I don't think they advertise the UV as Lightburn compatible.
Yeah. Yikes. Maybe just a solid B then.
All right. Well,
I guess that depends on if you're an XCS hater.
Here's my thing about these three in particular, not only because I haven't owned them, but these three machines take machines that have already been produced and make them like exponentially more expensive. And I know I'm not supposed to be taking pricing into account. It's really hard to ignore it for these particular things because they're like an order of magnitude more money than their predecessors.
The Omni X isn't.
Is it not?
No.
Oh, well, great. Boom.
What are you talking about?
These two are, though. The F2.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I was gonna say bang for buck, it's like hard
you're paying
to
you're paying the ecosystem tax.
Yeah, you're paying the ecosystem tax for sure.
The F2 UV, it doesn't have dual source, so you're not paying extra for that. You're literally paying for ecosystem with that. And for the F2 Ultra, where you're getting a fiber and a diode, I understand the tax that's associated to that, but you're also paying the XCS tax on top of that.
Yeah, and another thing that I have obviously ignored if we look at my list in some situations and not in others, but these both have just like evil levels of repairability or non-repairability rather. And you could make that argument for like the Lumos as well. I could drop the Lumos down, but I feel like it's more acceptable with a machine like the Lumos because the cost is so much lower. So if something goes wrong, you're not out $5,000. You know what I mean? If you get an F2 Ultra and something takes a shit on that, you're not fixing it. You're not. It's like opening up a cell phone in the laser world.
That reminds me, lens compatibility. So for the F1, the F1 Ultra, the F1 Lite, and somebody told me the F2 Ultra was the same, but I don't know because I haven't gotten valid information on it yet from a source. But the lenses are not user changeable, at least in the original series. Sure. So if that's the same in the F2 UV and F2 Ultra, if you damage a lens, like if you, let's say you're not moving enough air through the exhaust and you gum up a lens and then you burn something onto it, you have to send that back to get repaired. And if it's not under warranty, you're paying out of pocket for shipping both ways and for the lens. And that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
For something that you could just replace over a weekend on your own on any other machine.
Yeah.
Do you guys like get where I'm coming from on like the price making it more?
Oh yeah,
or
like
less
Cuban Crack
acceptable?
literally just said in chat, I would put my X-Tool F1 Ultra in the C category because it's too expensive for what it is, and it's okay at events, but the cheaper option would be better than if I just purchased a regular fiber.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like I would be more forgiving again about repairability if the cost was like substantially lower. But I think on a machine that expensive, you know, if we're looking at like the Mira
Just for the machine
5S
itself,
right,
yeah.
or like the Mira 9. The Mira 9 is like a $16,000 laser. Like if I can't open that and repair it, that's a problem. It's like a really big problem for me. So I think these two are just outside of the realm of what I can look past poor repairability on. Is kind of where.
Right.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
The
that's fair.
and then you also have on top of that, because it's a non-standard laser enclosure you can remove.
Mhm.
It's attached to the base. It's not like
Yeah.
adjustable. You
By the
also can't throw big stuff under it. There's no dropout base to engrave stuff under it.
You lose that Z.
If it doesn't fit, you're screwed.
So, and the other thing too is Mike C80-101 said, I think only the UV has the changeable lenses, by the way. So that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're kind of stuck on some of that. So BC for sure.
I'm putting them in C because Bronson said to put them in C, and
Bronson is a successful businessman.
He's a successful businessman. He's a successful international businessman on an international business meeting, and he has told us.
His mom is the nicest lady.
She is. He has told us that he would put them in a C, and I think our reservations plus his real world use case justifies kind of my gut feeling about these.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, by the way, John is kind of like going back on what you're saying too. Aeon machines are so easy to repair. Most everything can be replaced easily, and most items are actually accessible and readily available, not only from Aeon but other places too. So, like, if you're that's kind of where I was with like my tank over there. To me, those machines are like Chevys and Fords. You can just find their stuff at local shops and replace it, or you could go to the specialty parts if you want to. But like, it, you know,
yeah, like I appreciate like on the Mira 5S. I think this is a really good example of the way that Aeon does stuff. On the Mira 5S, they have those little lens cartridges that you can just pull out and just pop in a new one. So you can just buy new cartridges from them and just drop new lenses in. But those little lens cartridges also have little
gaskets, right?
Rubber like stoppers on them, held in by little screws, and you can just lift those up and pull the glass out and just pop your own back into the cartridge if you want.
That was actually, if you ever look back at the video footage, I think it might have got edited out because it was like when I was asking like very specific questions. One of my things was, hey, is that lens stuck in there, or can people just replace it with ones that they already have like laying around as stock? And I forgot the guy's name who actually builds them, but he was there, like their main designer. And he goes, nope, they're interchangeable or repurchasable, whatever you need. And I was
and I like that because I feel like that is a great example of how you can have a high-end device that
customer forward.
It integrates some proprietary systems, but doesn't restrict you from repairing it on your own if you need to. Yeah, you know, and that there's a line there, and those lasers walk that line very, very finely.
Yep. And then that's where John said the S series machines are so good. Aeon really listened to feedback when they designed and built them.
I'm really liking them. I'm really liking the 5 so far. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Just to not to drag you backwards, but to speed round it. We didn't cover the 60 watt. I guess you covered the 80 watt JPT, right?
I was going to say the 50 or the 60. I'm glad you said that. To me, 50 and 60 are like S. They're like the machine standard, in my opinion. I don't know what Kyle thinks.
Maybe we can do another one of these where we do sources.
Yeah. I think that'd probably be
because Rhiannon doesn't know the sources as well, so we can make that one a podcast episode, and then maybe I'll do like a hypercut of it to upload to the channel as an episode.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, we can do an
S. We could really talk about that kind of stuff
on just laser sources, and I think that would be really interesting to see.
Yeah, because John also mentioned the fact that he had the Rakis, right, that he had gotten when he bought his Eon. So that's the kind of stuff that would be great to talk about too.
If you guys want to see that episode, leave us a comment and let us know so that we can gauge interest. Because if there's no interest, we won't do it. Just because 3 fat old nerds want to sit around and do that doesn't mean that people actually want to watch it. So let us know in a comment that you want to see that, and then we'll go ahead and we'll work on that one for you, because that could be fun. But for now, I think we're done. We got everything sorted and organized in just the perfect amount of time here, I think. Right? No,
No, we're at an hour. Well, no, I would say like you could cut the first 20 minutes from this in your edit and it would be great. Like we'd be right at an hour. But I will say, I think that we should have a visual of the sorting hat, and it should just be like boss 2436 is S tier, and it's like, like a graphic that shoots it over. Maybe that's
I'm
just
not paying. For that.
Jack in the shop says do it, and Santa says, how many different sources are there? Oh, you have no idea.
Oh
Bro,
boy.
so many. So many.
Dozens and dozens.
Just so you know, I'm gonna just like not even be here for that one. I'm just gonna let Kyle and Alex be like, all right, guys, so listen up. Here's what we're talking about this week, okay?
I appreciate you guys letting me know in chat, but please do leave a comment because it really does help out the channel by giving us some engagement, which we desperately need, especially because we are back to being 100% viewer supported. Did you know this? You may have noticed the lack of Johnson Plastics Plus ads. You should still go over to Johnson Plastics Plus and check them out because they're an excellent resource, but they no longer pay to sponsor the podcast. And that hurts financially. I'm feeling it in my chest area. It's a little stressful. So if you want to help out with that and keep the lights on, keep the show going, keep new episodes of Laser Everything coming out, head over to lasereverything.net/support to find out all the ways you can do so. We've got the Laser Master Academy, which is the #1 place to go online to get help and hook up with other like-minded people. What, you don't like that? You don't like hook up?
No, I was just laughing at John in chat. He's like, Harry Potter with lasers. Hell no.
It's a laser hookup, guys, over at the LMA. Tons of really, really knowledgeable, experienced people over there, ourselves included, looking to help you fix your laser problems and just kind of interact. Everybody who's there pays to be there, so it's a much higher quality level of posting than I think you might be used to seeing on some other social platforms, not naming names. If that sounds like too much for you and you just want to support the show, we also have Patreon and Coffee, and those are all linked again over at lasereverything.net/support. Just $3 a month makes a really, really huge difference. I think that's the lowest cost tier that we have, and we sure would appreciate it because we really like doing this for you guys every week.
Johnson had
I do.
Yeah, Bronson. I'm gonna say Bronson had a great comment down there. He said, "I don't know if the code still helps you guys, but remember, if you go to Johnson Plastics Plus, you can use YLR-ZDF, and it still helps us out."
Yeah, I believe it does too.
And he said, "I still have Matt saying it in my head every time I go to check out, and I'm glad that I live there rent free because I can't afford any more rent anywhere."
You really drilled it into them.
Speaking of chat, I do just want to address one thing.
Sure.
Stacy says, "Do you guys own Hayocean?" We definitely don't own Hayocean as a company. However, me and Matt both have lasers made by Hayocean, just to clarify.
You own Hayocean machines.
Not the company, though.
No.
Correct.
To be very clear.
That would be ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that is all. That is all.
Cool. Good to know. I think that's all I've got, guys. Do you have anything else you want to add before we take off for the night?
No, thank you guys for coming like always, man. It's fun. I appreciate it. There was one question too for like 10 seconds. The P3, where would you put it?
I don't know what that is.
Correct.
The P3 is the X-Tool gantry CO2.
All right, where would you put it, Kyle?
I thought they were at a P2.
I would put it at
P3 now.
Yes, there's a P3.
Is that when you meet? Is that when you me and Matt all go to the bathroom at the same time? It's a P3.
Oh my god! Don't cross the screen. Where would you put it, Kyle? Quick.
I would put any X-Tool gantry.
You put it back in your
CO2.
Pants. You're done peeing. Just put it away.
I would put all of them in the C tier because they advertise LiPERN compatibility, but they're not all 100% truly LiPERN compatible. Just like their Galvos.
Yeah, so basically CUP. Got it. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
Right. Margo wants me to say to make sure to smash the like button.
Smash it good, guys.
Smash. Give it a little smash.
All right, we're done. We're done. We're
all right. Have a great night, everybody, and we will see you